Yeah, it's crazy what this book could do. Real quick, look at the book of Numbers, chapter. Hold on a second. Chapter 4. I noticed something about, my tribe in regards to what the book says from the first 5 books of Moses. Because if you look at how tragic Haiti is, or Haiti was, or because from Africa, that's where they picked up on the voodoo witchcraft. So what became a product, and the remnant of what happened ever since those slave ships since 1492, and the slavery that they had to go through up until the revolution, right? So I'm pretty sure that nowadays, since immigration, we was known as the minorities. I mean, if you look at ever since segregation, what was going on simultaneously? World War II. So that was the 20th century. It's like we're a product of nowadays of what had happened and their ancestors. So the psychological predicament that we've been facing with nowadays, like with these whole police infractions that have been going on, and brutality from the police, and even from black communities from different parts of America. How many of you guys got taken now? Like Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner. I'm pretty sure there's these different stories that have been going about, and in regards to racism, and everything has its own reasoning, and for everything to happen, whatever that correlates to, okay, boom. One person lives in Virginia, next person lives in Southside Florida, next person lives in Cali, the other person lives from New England. So if you look at all the stuff that's been taking place historically throughout this country, nobody's from this country, not even these white folk, except for the Native American Indians. But the natives have been living in this area, South America, the Caribbean, the Tainos, the Seminole Indians of Florida. If you hear about the Mayans and the Incas, and who exactly what was the Northern Kingdom according to the Bible since the Assyrian captivity. So that was thousands of years ago. That was like 720 BC. So up until the imperialistic conquest of the Romans, because I mean, if you look at this white culture that's been going on nowadays in America today, what they're doing with the Anunnaki from the media. So what exactly had been taught in those schools and those institutions? What exactly had been taught? Never try to take this stuff into consideration from those schools back in the 50s, or civil rights, ever since Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and them. So you hear about this movement with the Nation of Islam, but you never hear anything about the Hebrew Israelite movements, even during that time period. Things would have gotten worse. So up until in the urban areas, from Brooklyn especially, what was they doing with Thomas? People wasn't even sure. Like in the music industry, in Haiti, people knew about what they was doing with my name. So let me just air that out the way, just to make it seem whereas in, alright, that's my name, okay, but would that really correlate to, imagine having somebody else with the same name, that could be your worst nightmare. So let me go into the scriptures real quick. Before we do anything, I'm going to hit the New Testament. Because if you're really claiming to be an Israelite, one thing that has to be understood is to understand these white folks, these Gentiles. Not all of them, but who we govern by. So These folk are tail-bearing pagans. You may never know what could be going through these people's lives. It's sick. And this whole sexual content, don't even get me started, man. For whatever is real about, okay, extraterrestrials, right? I could take an offense. Like, imagine someone who's striving for righteousness, sodomized, left for dead, stuck in a pile of dirt crud, relationship shattered. They're gonna take away our children. You never know what could happen. Like the most unexpected. So whatever's needed to be done, make sure everyone's on the same page. Just to reassure, you know. So this right here is Galatians chapter 3. No, this is Paul right here, after Christ. It says, hold on a second, let me check the next precept. Alright, 30. Alright. It says, even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And the scripture foreseeing that the Most High would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying, in thee shall all nations be blessed. So then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful with Abraham. And as many as are the works of the law and under the curse, for it was written, curses everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law. So the law itself inspired this book that sent Christ because of sin, because of the fall of man. So ever since the old covenant, Christ had to be sent. So if you look at here at verse 13, it says Christ had redeemed us from the curse of the law. So if you look at Deuteronomy 28 on purposely, Satan has done the most atrocities throughout history on purpose for his consent. So there's a chain of command that's going on. That's why the Most High had to promise to Abraham for the covenant. So that's what we can find in this book. So you can find the curses in Deuteronomy 28. It's right there, you know. It's not that hard to be understood. It's just you gotta pray for strength. I mean, I think the Gathering Christ Church, the Shema Israel. I mean, the camps I was able to find on YouTube. Shout outs to the ones in Boston. I know we wasn't able to link up. I pray the Most High. I mean, pray for the families out there, brothers, sisters, the youth. I got love for people, man. So I'm just saying, even though we're suffering, there's still good into life, you know. Just consider the good ones, you know. It says Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7, alas, the day is great, so that none is like it, even as the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that it will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king, whom I will rise up unto them. Therefore fear not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and they shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, and the Lord to save thee. Though I make a full end of all the nations, and have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee, but will not correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So if you skip down to verse 17, it says, For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee from thy wounds, the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring again the captivity Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwellings and his places. The city shall be builded upon her and her own heap, and the place shall remain after the manner thereof. So, because of this captivity that we're going through right now, like what it says about in the book of Genesis, how the Most High promised 400 years of captivity to his descendants. That's exactly what happened in Egypt. Same thing happened out here in America. There's nothing new. You're able to learn from everything nowadays. So let's check in the book of Romans chapter 8. Precept. Says, Likewise the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of God. So, if you look at what exactly is the Spirit that this book is talking about, let's check the book of John. It says, John 14 verse 15, If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever, even the Spirit of truth. Okay, when it says the comforter right here, that's supposed to mean the ruach. So that's feminine. So the Masoretes actually did something to the way we will actually view the Bible. For the bruise out there who's been willing to edify what the book says, I'll commend you if I have time. But for now, I ain't trying to be fake and just let that. As soon as something goes on simultaneously, because alright, this book yourself right here could be inspired by plenty, and yet the atheists could use this book just to scorn, make it seem as if like why was this book created by a man since God wasn't there? No, listen, like, you ain't take these signs into consideration, man. We've been deprived spiritually. You don't even know what to believe from these people, man. That's all for now. Yo, boy, coolin'. That's how it is. It's right here.